Welcome back to the Thursday evening Cowboy Fashion Report. This evening I've got on another breathtaking pearl snap shirt. Notice pearl snaps. This lovely shade of white is called Gringo Loco. And I wore this shirt today because I'm going to talk about a gringo that was plumb loco. I told people I'd tell this story eventually. It's going to take a little while, so I guess if you want to listen to it, you might ought to sit down in case you fall asleep. You won't pass out standing up and hurt your head. Well, back in 1992, I was working up here in Garfield County, Montana for the Binion Ranch. And Benny, he'd already dead. He passed away in the 80s. Ted Binion had, I guess, controlling interest. And Ted didn't come up there but maybe once or twice a year, and he'd stay a week or two or a month. Well, we'd been there about 6 months, and Ted showed up, and he was trying to dry out. He was going to up on some federal indictments for racketeering. I don't know what all. He's in all kinds of stuff, and he's a known killer. I mean, he's killed people for real, not bluffing. And hell, I got along good with him. He's up there 3 or 4 days. We was going to move a bunch of heifers one morning, and they's real gentle, little black baldy heifers. Had about 100 head of them. And it's me, Brandon Lord, Bruce Lord, Hugh Bob, Cal Farley, Greg Severe. He'd already fired Russ Steele, a good friend of mine up there for no reason. So, and it was Ted's wife and his daughter's friend. So we was going across the breaks there, and beautiful, beautiful scenic country, the Missouri breaks. And we was on a feed road that run along in bridges. You go back in there, you can drive as far as we was going. And we was 6 miles into the breaks. I know this because we went back and got our saddles later to pick up. We were 6 miles in the breaks there. Well, these heifers, they just walking along there, gentle. And I was back here near the drags. Well, me and Brandy got to visiting, and one of them heifers went to grazing, and I reached back there and kicked her up. And old Ted, he went to screaming at me across the herd, and rode over to me and chewed my ass out. Called me everything but a fine young cowboy. And I didn't say much back to him because he messed up. You know, he was into lots of stuff like heroin, Van Eyck, I don't know what all. And he packed a big old 45 pistol and shoulder holster. And I didn't carry a gun. Didn't fancy myself a gunfighter back then. Still don't. So I decided I'd finish the drive, and then I'd just check on out that evening, not make a big stink out of nothing, because Ted wasn't somebody you really want to get an argument with out there in the middle of nowhere. So we go a little further, the same heifer does the same thing again, and I just ride by her. Leave her grazing, not to hell with it. And she gets 100 yards behind us. I just can't do it. I gotta go. The cowboy in me, you know how it is. So I kick her back up there. And this son of a pooch just comes unglued. He goes to screaming. And you gotta know Ted, his old head looks like Medusa with snakes in it. And his eyes are about that big around. Looks like that crazy gal that's in the House of Representatives right now. I mean, if he was a bronc, you wouldn't pick him. The son buck was loco. He goes to screaming, cussing. He says, "You're fired, you son of a this and that." And so I turned I was on a little 3-year-old called Caprock. I turned him around and go loping off. That dang, I hear all them boys screaming, Hootie Bob, Cal and him, and look around. Old Ted, he's coming at me at a dead run on this big sawhorse. I mean, whooping and spurring, and ain't no way I can outrun him on that 3-year-old. Sure can't outrun a bullet. Well, I figured he's going to try to knock me down. He's crazy. So I stepped off that 3-year-old. I was going to try to keep him in front of me, let him hit that horse so I could get out of the way, use my cat-like reflexes to escape. So anyway, he slides to a stop there, and I'm holding that little bronc, and he, again, called me everything but a fine young cowboy. And he says, "Give me that horse. You ain't going to ride my horse anymore when you quit me in the middle of the drive," and this and that. I said, "Well, you fired me." Anyway, I jerked my saddle, and he tried to take my bridle, and I jerked my bridle off, kicked that horse in the belly. Well, I look up, and I see Brandon up there, and he's doing the same thing. He quit with me. That's a pretty good fella right there. Always thought a lot of that. Anyway, he turned his horse loose. Me and him walk in through the Missouri breaks. And I saw a pelican that day. That was the damnedest thing. Only pelican I've ever seen in the wild. You know, they've got the big, long chin where they can put fish down in it. He was flying across from Missouri. I don't know, weird as hell. Stands out in my head. Hell of a place for a pelican. Anyway, we get back there to headquarters, and I load all my stuff in my camper, my guns and everything, lock it up. I was going to wait around and try to get my last paycheck because I kind of needed money to live. Well, Ted gets back in, and he won't see me. And again, he calls me everything but a fine young cowboy and some other choice words, and tells me he ain't paying me shit because I quit him in the middle of the drive, and I didn't mention again that I got fired. And I just decided to do whatever I could, and went on down to my house, which was about a quarter mile below the big house. Me and Brandon lived side by side in trailer houses. Well, I walked back in my trailer to grab something. My camper's locked up. My pickup's running. All my guns are locked in the back of my camper. As I walk out the door, here comes Hootie, Bob, and Cal, sliding into Brandon's driveway, jumping out running, saying, "Sean, get the hell out of here. He's coming down here to kill y'all." And as soon as they said, "Well, here comes Ted," he slides in behind them with a 12-gauge double barrel leaned up against the window. So I hid behind my camper for a while. I couldn't get to my guns. I didn't really want to get to a gunfight, but I couldn't get to my guns. I couldn't leave for fear of getting shot. Finally, Brandon comes out of the house after a Mexican standoff for quite a while. And I decided he wasn't going to kill me, so I walked by him. Walk in the house. Old Gary, he's sitting in the recliner with a 30-30 cocked. I mean, the hammer cocked. He's ready for the gunfight. Ted, he circles the house a few times in the pickup. We call the sheriff. He finally leaves. I went back out there and unlocked my camper and stuck my .357 Colt down my belt, got my 30-30 laid in the seat, and I drove to the Hell Creek bar, and I ordered me a pack of cigarettes and several shots of whiskey. And it was kind of like that deal on Blazing Saddles where he said, "Hell, you're steady as a rock." Yeah, but that's my drinking hand. Anyway, that's my Montana getting fired at Ted Binion / almost getting killed story. I hope I bored y'all to tears. I like to keep my audiences riveted. Y'all keep snapping.